Welcome back to another episode of the Canon on the Boomer Bus channel. I'm your host Terry, and today doing my initial reaction for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And so, typically, I go to see the movie the opening night and then do my initial reaction, which still a spoiler, but is not in depth. And then after I see it a second time, that's when I do my full spoiler review. So, but you know, with this movie, I'm not sure when I'm gonna go see it again. You know, part of it, I would say is 70% that it's emotionally heavy, but 30% is a very long movie. So I have to see how my mind and heart is feeling. Maybe Sunday night, but maybe next week sometime. But once I do that, then we'll go into full spoilers. This is definitely not a movie that I'm going to see 10 times in the theater like Black Panther. But I got to say that, you know, off top, if I don't know if I really talked about it a lot on here, but I mean, the Black Panther meant a lot to me. And you could check my review. I didn't give it the highest grade as a movie. I think you could separate the two, but for its impact on the culture and just my respect for Chadwick even previous to that is immense. And so the Black Panther, what it stands, and honestly, I talked about this on my old channel prior to the movie coming out. I got clued in on Black Panther through a TV show. And so this was before they even announced it. And so to see Black Panther, the character blew my mind. And I didn't really know why. And I think Ryan Coogler showed me and a lot of people why it was important. And so the death of Chadwick was so tough on me and still continues to be tough on me. Mainly because of the way it happened. I mean, and it's so powerful. I wouldn't even say it's sad. It's just powerful. It's impactful that he decided to finish his life out the way he did. And so I was very big on the recast T'Challa thing until about 2-3 months ago, maybe less than that. And I did a 180. I was listening. Actually, it was the cast just talking about it because I think it was very secretive until the movie started to get closer. And then you start to hear Ryan Coogler and the cast talk about it. And I think it was Lupita that was talking about how they wanted to make this movie. Essentially, it's a vessel to communicate and to outlet their feelings and their grief and everything that went on in real life. And I think when you watch the movie, it mirrors that perfectly. I was telling my friends that honestly, there's no separation. The only separation is the name T'Challa instead of Chadwick. The way the movie plays, I mean, it is almost just talking to you as an audience. And so and it starts very early and it hits you so hard, or at least it hit me so hard. And that theme kind of reverberates throughout the movie. So, in terms of a farewell, in terms of a reckoning with Chadwick's loss, I give full credit to Ryan Coogler because he made the hard choice. He made the choice to not recast, to not, divert. He leaned into this impossible question that us as humans can't answer. What do you do after a loss like this? And the answer is never going to be perfect. Some people might think he did too much. Some people might think he did too little. But the answer is never going to help everybody. And it's going to be messy. And I think he leaned into the messiness. So I give him credit for that. And I give him credit because from beginning to end, or from the beginning where we start to where we end, he completely, to me, puts you on a journey of closure. Somehow in the middle of all this extra stuff, and I'll get into that one day about all the different parts of this movie and the themes it brings up of war and conflict, but somehow through all of that, he brings you from the loss of Chadwick to the celebration of moving on. Because it would have been one thing to have the funeral scene somewhere in the middle of the movie where everybody has kind of moved on and they're celebrating, they're happy. But no, he takes you from especially Shuri's perspective where a year is not enough. It never gets better. And so we aren't telling you, hey, someone dies a few days later, you know, we celebrate and we're good. But no, he tells you that, you know, there's no timeline on this. And, you know, through dramatic action, sometimes through a quiet moment, we can reach peace or at least acceptance and find the love in things that are to come while also respecting the things we lost. So on that side, you know, shout out to Ryan Coogler. So with that said, on the movie side, I think much like Black Panther, there's some parts that, you know, kind of I think about. I think overall the CG is better, except they might have used the volume, which everybody's been using in the TV shows, and it stands out. I like it. That CG when they're in Wakanda in the background, it looks terrible. Honestly, it does. But so much of the other stuff they did with the Wakandan technology, with Telecon that they bring in, I think it looks great at points, and some stuff just, you know, whatever. But sorry, that was the first thing to come to my head. But yeah, like I said, with the first one, there's parts that I just, you know, felt were a little weaker, especially in the story. And that's the same way here, where some parts in the story make me raise my eyebrow. I gotta think about it more. But overall, the story they chose to tell is ambitious, and I think the positives outweigh the negatives. I'll just say Riri Williams, and I think is it Bella Thorne? Is that her name? Or is it not Bella? It's something, Dominique Thorne. Amazing. I mean, you already got me because she's from Chicago. I don't know anything about Riri, and I'm not a fan of the spinoff characters. You know, the Batwoman, the Ironheart, you know, whatever. I'm not a fan of those, so I don't know much about her. But the way the actress, it's not the way they wrote her. It's not any of that. It's the way the actress brought her to life. Because nothing about Riri, literally nothing about Riri to me captures me, but the energy of the person captured me. Because I knew the story, I knew the basics of it, but she brought the energy and she breathed life into it, and I can't wait to see her again. Like, and the Chicago stuff puts it over the top, so I love that part. And then and then the Telecon and Namor and the way they bring them to bear in this new world and introduce them and show them, amazing. And again, in the spoiler review, I'm gonna dive deeper into all those things, but the way they were introduced was amazing to me. And I think the journey of Shuri was just interesting. Like, to the very end, I was wondering how this would get resolved. And it's not just Shuri, to be honest. I think Ryan does a very subtle thing where he shows that part of Queen. Everybody calls her Queen Mother, Ramonda, Angela Bassett. They show the parts of her and her fire that have been passed on to Shuri in a way we've never seen. And so once everything happens and Shuri has to step up, you see that fire continue to a dangerous point where Ramonda had fire, but she also was a little measured. She was seasoned, and Shuri was young and she didn't know how to do that. And so, yeah, I was just like, how is this going to end? And honestly, I'm getting into some real spoiler stuff, so, you know, just to warn you, when Queen Ramonda died, I kind of was like, I should have saw that coming. I didn't. Kudos to them, but I should have saw it coming, because the whole time I'm like, how can Wakanda survive with her as a leader? She is so fierce and her emotional damage right now. How can we survive? And so then she dies, and then we go to Shuri, who has seen Talokan and all that, and I thought it was well set up. But then he takes Shuri down this even worse path, and I'm like, how does this end? How does this end? Because even to the point where she's stabbed, and to be honest, that's a little, weird that she just kind of got over that injury. But to that point, she's talking about killing him and, his corpse. And I'm like, how does this end? And so I like the concept of the resolution. I don't like the execution. And again, I got to watch it again, but that's my initial thought on it, is that this quick glimpse of Angela Bassett, who we, I hate to be crude, but we still have her. This isn't Carrie Fisher. This isn't Chadwick. We have her. You could have shot whatever you wanted. I think that quick snippet of her was not enough. And to be honest, I love this scene, but I know it's in popular culture, it's made fun of. It's going to feel a lot like Batman vs. Superman with the Martha scene. And again, I understand the concept of that and I love it, but the execution, I could admit, wasn't great. And that's the same thing that happens here in Black Panther. It's just too quick. It's a quick flip. And so I like the idea of bringing this tension along, because not only is it like, okay, her as a character is being corrupted and she is now got powers and she's still angry, and then we're like, what happens to her? But we know she's the queen now. We know that the whole fate of Wakanda rests in her hands. And so you get tense, like she's going to lead them to destruction. Same thing with Namor. And the resolution, again, in concept works, but the execution for me was a little shaky. So a lot of the stuff we introduced, for the most part, I really liked. There was a couple plays on old things from the first movie, which was a little cheesy to me. But again, as a tribute, as a farewell, as a healing process for Chadwick, A+. As a film itself, I mean, it's got to be a B+. It's high marks, because the storytelling, it reminds me a good amount of Andor, which I love. Andor's elite writing. And the writing is not on the caliber of Andor, but this exploring these themes of war and being intricate of how they happen. Things happen and then leads to another domino effect. But then you also call back to earlier things. I think that was set up well. It's just parts of the movie I think weren't executed well, not just through the writing, but through the CGI and through the, production and just all of that. And so, but again, I gotta see it again. So overall, I mean, a lot of people are saying it, not like any other MCU movie. And I would agree. I mean, there's still a good amount of jokes. I would agree. It's not like any other movie, period. I personally have not experienced a movie that I keep thinking of the word, and I don't know if I could figure it out, but like, it doesn't even feel like a movie sometimes. It feels more like a love letter, for lack of a better word. It feels like a glimpse, a mirror into our hearts for all those that love Chadwick and his, contributions to the world. That's what it feels like. It feels like I don't have the words to say this, so we're going to make a movie to express how we feel. And so it's really difficult to think about it in totality, but overall, I think I commend Ryan Coogler and everybody for what they put into it. And I don't know what else to say. I encourage everybody to go see it, and I think the mid-credit scene sets up something that could be very beautiful, depending on how they handle it. So that's it for me, man. Go down in the comment section, let me know what you think. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, if you heard it here, it's official canon.